Welcome. You decided to come back, and I'm so happy. This is day 2 of a 21 days to mindful meditation, and I just wanted to keep this really rather simple. I was trained in MBSR, and so a body scan is just one of the first things that we learn to do, and people often find so relaxing. So I would like to invite you to find a way, either lying down on your bed or a yoga mat, anything is fine, or you can remain seated like I usually do for body scans, so I don't fall asleep often. But body scans are wonderful to use in the middle of the night when you wake up and you can't fall back to sleep. We start down at the bottom of our feet and work our way up, and if I do a body scan, I typically don't make it past my thighs when I'm just relaxing and finding my breath. So enough talk. Let me introduce you to a body scan. And so find a comfortable way to be, and really feeling into whatever surface is holding you. So if you're comfortable, allowing your eyes to close. If you're in a lying down position, you want to be lying down with your feet just relaxed and open, and your arms maybe about 6 inches to 12 inches away from your sides. Maybe even putting a couple pillows underneath your legs is often nice. Feels good to the lower back. And if you're sitting in a chair or you're sitting on the floor on a cushion, we're just grounding ourselves to the floor that's supporting us. Noticing the pressure of the hands on the lap. Just allowing ourselves to really arrive into this moment. We have busy lives and we spend a lot of our time doing, and this is really an invitation to just be, for a few moments, for this 10-15 minutes, if we can be a human being instead of a human doing, it's often a wonderful, refreshing thing to do. So after you've grounded yourself and you feel what's supporting your body, just noticing any sounds that are around. I'm upstairs and I can hear a mama bird that's just tweeting out there. So just noticing any sounds or any textures that you might feel. I can feel the carpet in front of me. I can taste the cup of tea that I had this morning before I sat down to record this for you. So using your senses to really ground yourself in the now, as well as feeling the body being supported by the surface. And then allowing yourself to find your breath wherever it's most prevalent to you. So it could be in the nostrils, feeling the air floating in a little bit cooler, and then exhaling, feeling it a little bit warmer. It could be at the chest, feeling the chest rise on the inhale and then falling back on the exhale. It could be the abdomen, so you're really feeling that belly as it fills up with air and then relaxes back. Again, breath is a wonderful way to ground us. And what I mean by grounding is just almost like an anchor for a boat. It tethers you to right now. We're not spending time in the future. We're not spending time in the past. We're just really right here. And yes, you will float off. You will be taken away by the list of things that you need to do later, or the conversations that you had yesterday, and that's fine. When you realize you've gone off, that's really a moment of mindfulness, and it's really to be celebrated. The minds were meant to wander and be aware of our surroundings, to keep us safe and keep us connected. So there's a lot of really good reasons. And yet the invitation for mindfulness is to be right here. So we travel off and then we come back right here. So finding your breath, and if you can take the inhale and then pause just for a moment and notice that little bit of a gap between the end of the inhale and the beginning of the exhale. It's subtle, but it's there. And then allowing the exhale, and if you can exhale through your lips and allow that exhale to be longer than the inhale. So maybe inhaling for 4, pause, notice, feel your groundedness, and then exhale. And just one more time, breathing in for 4, pausing, noticing that space, that tiny space, and then exhaling for 8. And then allowing your breath to just return back to its natural pace. Breathing in, and knowing you're breathing in, and then breathing out, knowing you're breathing out. And on this next inhale, we're going to breathe in, and then we're going to exhale all the way down through the body and landing on the left foot on the big toe. So the big toe of the left foot. No need to move it, no need to do anything. We're just feeling into that toe. So I feel the carpet underneath my toe. I feel a little bit of pressure because I'm sitting upright. And just what do you notice? Maybe you notice the air around your toe. Maybe you haven't even gotten out of bed yet, which is lovely. And what a great way to start your day. So maybe the blanket or the sheet is over top of your foot, and you can feel the sheet resting on your big toe. It's amazing how the mind, the focus, can focus on something so small. If we allow it to. And then widening the awareness to include the big toe, and then the second, third, fourth, and then 5th toe. Noticing the spaces between the toes. Noticing the bottom of the foot. Sometimes when we focus on a body part, we'll notice some tingling. So some tingling in the feet or the toes. Or maybe nothing at all, and that's totally your experience, and that's really fine. And all the while, the breath is just there to support us, noticing that we're breathing, and then noticing that we're exhaling. Expanding the awareness to include the foot and the top of the left foot, but then also the calf, and the shin of the left leg. Can you expand the awareness to include from the tips of the toes of the left foot all the way up through and up into that left knee? Just resting awareness from the tip of the toes to the left knee. Expanding the awareness to include the thigh, the inner thigh, the outer thigh, into that buttocks muscle that's either resting on a cushion or resting on the bed. And can you let go a little bit and allow that buttocks muscle to soften and widen, supporting even more of a base? So the invitation here is to hold an awareness from the tip of the left toe up into that left hip and everything in between. Can you cradle it in awareness? And again, the mind wanders off. We notice it. And just like training a puppy, if a puppy wanders off or a puppy doesn't stay where we're asking it to stay, we don't beat on the puppy. We just go, oh, he's wandered off or she's wandered off, and we pick up the puppy just like we're picking up the attention and returning it in a kind way to whatever we're focusing on, which is now the area between the tips of the toes of the left foot up into that left buttocks and hip. The invitation here is to be inquisitive and just curious to what you might find if you focus on different parts of the body, which all allows us to and encourages us to use our senses and, more importantly, be in the now. Just be right here. And on the next exhale, can you travel across the lower pelvic area, traveling down that right leg all the way down to the bottom of the right foot? Can you notice what's there? We're merely resting awareness in the bottom of the right foot. And then on the next inhale, traveling up through the ankle, the calf, the shin of that right lower leg into that right knee. And sometimes knees can be tricky for us. So if we happen upon a body part that's giving you a little bit of trouble, you have two choices. You can either choose to rest there and wait for the sensation to change, because it will, because nothing's constant and complete. It's ever changing. Or you can move the focus to an area of the body that is not feeling that that tension or that throbbing or that heat, whatever the sensations are that you are connecting to pain. You certainly can shift to your pinky of your left hand. It's usually a pretty safe place to go. Or if you're outside, certainly shifting awareness to the birds that are singing, or using the senses, which we're focusing on today, and feeling the wind breeze just blowing on the face is certainly a lovely option. But if you decide to stay with the right knee, we're going to travel up through the thigh, the inner thigh, the outer thigh, and into the buttocks, into that hip muscle or that hip joint, I guess. And rest awareness there. Can you rest awareness in your right hip? Just breathing some breath space in there. Allowing loosening and opening. They say we hold a lot of emotions in our hips. So breathing some breath space, if that's open to you, into your right and your left hip. Holding for a moment, and then just letting it go. And then traveling up through the back of the body, so the lower back, feeling into that area, sometimes an area that's tight for some of us. The middle back, the upper back, so that would be the shoulder blades. Maybe even rolling the shoulders like I just did, and so that the shoulder blades in the back are meeting each other, which allows the heart space to open up just a little bit more. Traveling up into the back of the neck, the back of the head. Again, an area that some of us, neck pain or headaches or whatever, can land there. So taking a moment if you want to, and even just massaging that back of the area, that'll allow you to tune in a little bit more to what's going on there. Traveling to the top of the head, the crown of the head, coming around to the temples, the sides of the head, the ears. So hearing the words that I'm saying and the spaces between the words. Or any sounds that you might hear wherever you happen to be when you're listening to this audio. Relaxing into the jaw, allowing the face to soften, the eyes to soften, the brow, noticing the space between the brows, and just allowing that area to completely open and soften. Traveling down through the front of the throat, the front of the chest, noticing the heart space. Maybe even putting a hand on your heart, noticing how that feels. And then traveling back to where we were before in the beginning. So noticing the breath as it's coming in the body and filling up the belly and then filling up the chest. And if you happen to be lying down, it's an awesome way to feel the breath is one hand on the belly and one hand on the chest. Feeling into the lower belly. They say that our belly is our second brain. So our belly isn't just digesting the food that we had for breakfast, this morning or lunch or dinner, but it's also digesting the day that we had and our thoughts and our feelings and emotions. So allowing the next breath to be brought into a Buddha belly, a softening belly. And then one more breath in, breathing in, knowing you're breathing in, and then breathing out, parting the lips a little bit, making a little sound. Knowing you're breathing out. And as you're ready, just feeling the groundedness and the support of the floor that's supporting you, or the bed that's supporting you, or mat. Allowing your eyes to open if you're comfortable with that. And noticing how you feel. What does this feel like to just be here in this moment and open and relaxed? We're alert, but relaxed. So I would encourage you, when you have your cup of tea or your cup of coffee this morning, notice how warm the cup is before you take that first sip. Using your senses, that sense of touch. And then when you take your first sip, notice the warmth of it and the taste. Notice the traffic as you're driving to work. Just using your senses, if you can, to keep you right here. We know that people that are here in the now are happier. So thank you for coming to day 2, and I look forward to seeing you in day 3. Namaste.